So Aviant, we focus on autonomous drone transportation. We currently have the problem that we're trying to solve is drone transportation within the healthcare sector. So right now there's a lot of logistics between hospitals and healthcare centers, for example, of biological samples. Now, the big problem with this is that the transportation is done by car. So in big cities, you have huge traffic, so the transportation is very irregular. And in smaller cities or of longer distances, the transportation is usually very infrequent, which leads to, for example, during the COVID pandemic, it was one of the leading factors for delayed diagnosis of the patients. So hospitals right now, specifically in Europe, are looking into using drones to solve this problem. Now, drones have many advantages over car transport. First of all, it's faster because it's independent on the infrastructure. It's green, it's autonomous, but what's most important for hospitals is that you can deploy it on a need basis. So when you actually have the need, you can deploy the drone and you can scale it to the need of the hospital. And thirdly, it's also a lot cheaper when it's deployed on scale as well. So the way our drone or technology works is that it's formed like we build it like a plane, so that but it can also take off vertically, and then it flies using the wings. So you have a range of 160 kilometers, and this is what makes it possible. And then we have a 4G connection with a ground station where we can control the drone, having a link to it, and then you can land sort of on a parking lot or on the roof of the hospital. So we've done the first autonomous flight from covering 120 kilometers in Norway, which is the longest autonomous drone flight ever done in Scandinavia. This got us on national newspapers in Norway, but also on the MIT front page, because of the way like the Scandinavian countries are working. This is a huge advantage for their current infrastructure and really helps during the pandemic. We also have 2 paying customers in Sweden, so we're flying 7 different routes in Sweden in addition to our Norwegian routes. And currently we are certified by the European regulations, so we can fly in Sweden, Norway, Germany, and are currently the market leader in drone transportation in Scandinavia. So right now we are, as I said, we are certified, we can do drone transportation, but we're looking to initiate with more, we're ready to scale up and start new projects. So we're looking for people within the transportation industry, the healthcare industry, and other ones that want to try and look into drone transportation. Thank you.
Thanks, Lars. Maybe you can touch a little bit on the other sort of your expansionary plans. What other use cases might benefit from your drone service? Couple that with the sort of the geographic prioritization that you might have.
So we have gotten requests from 9 different commercial companies. For example, Wilhelmsen, which is a shipping company, or Bayer Pharmaceuticals. And they're looking into how to more efficiently do the supply chain. So for example, Bayer has many different supply chains, and they're looking into make them more efficient. So now that we have implemented our drone infrastructure for hospitals, we're looking into new verticals where we can test the technology.
Got it. Any additional existing regulatory restriction in place for transporting such cargo via drones? Maybe in the medical realm, are there additional restrictions, or is it just a matter of getting a license to fly a commercial drone?
So currently, the field of autonomous drone transportation is very new. So the regulations in Europe, they came January 2021. So most of the field hasn't been, like, for example, the hospitals, they don't have any specific regulations for drone transportation because it has never been done. But right now, the regulatory, we are talking with the or CAA of Norway and Sweden to form or define the rules of how it should be done.
Okay. What are some parameters that define what you can do? For example, for instance, what are the weight limitations?
So we can fly about 160 kilometers, and we can carry about 2 kilograms over that specific range. But if we go slower or a shorter range, we could go, for example, 30 kilometers, and we could carry about 4 to 5 kilograms.
Got it. What about weather impact or daylight?
So we can fly during day and night. So in Sweden, we actually fly during the night because it's easier for other helicopter. We reserve a part of the airspace. So we have our own airspace in Sweden. And then no other air traffic is allowed to go there. So we fly there during the night. And the permits, we're certified for all of Europe, but America has a very different regulations for drone transportation. And currently, Europe is a little bit more liberal right now. It's easier to get permits and start projects. It's a lot more bureaucracy in America, but America is certainly, for example, with Google, they have a lot of initiatives in autonomous drone transportation, which will definitely see more use cases of.
Got it. So we're going to pause here. You have a couple of questions you can probably address in the chat, but we're going to go to the next speaker. So thank you, Lars.